we live?
We are live.
We aren't. Have you checked?
I've just had a little check, and a little flag came up saying Adam Gray is now live.
Adam Gray is now live. What, you just
We-
live yourself?
Yeah, it was just reminding me that I was live in case I was unsure.
Très bien, très bien. So, let me just get myself sorted here. Bosh. So, welcome. If there's anyone, is there anybody out there? Out there.
Is there anybody out there, actually?
Have you got your chat on?
I've got my chat on. I have got.
So-
we have got some people out there. Marvelous.
We have got some people out there. So, for
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know, this is That Album, our weekly show that came about from Adam and I sitting of an evening, sometimes at the weekend, sometimes on school nights, texting each other on our collaboration hub of choice, which happens to be Slack. Have you heard this album? What do you think of that track? What do you think of the way he plays guitars here? What about that key change on that song? And hello, Simon.
Hello, big boy.
What about that key change? What about that? What about that? Blah. What about that? Blah. What about that? Blah. And we'd get into these long and drawn out. I was a musician in an early life. Adam is a very accomplished musician, which you can still see.
I, like you, was a musician in a previous life.
Yeah, but
not
you
anymore,
you were an accomplished musician, and I was a guy who just. Have we ever discussed what my weapon of choice was?
Well, I believe so. We kind of have. You're a bass player at heart, aren't you? But
Yeah.
you played trombone as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's where I got into bass clef, and that's where I went to this one just really quickly. I went to this wonderful school, Parkmains High School, that had just a normal school in a Glasgow housing estate outside Glasgow, but it had a wonderful music department with an award-winning musical director who was the head of
Nice.
music, Keith Hamilton, and he put together an amazing. So the school was all about music. It was a bit like Fame. So when you were in your first couple of weeks of first
Did you
year,
jump with your legs, out like?
you had to go up through the music department, and I remember the day as clear as a bell. They'd set up all the rooms, typical 70s high school. They'd set up the where's the buffet? Yeah. They'd set up all the rooms, and you went into the first room with Mrs. Craig, and she had a piccolo, a flute, an oboe, a clarinet, an alto sax, a tenor sax, a bass sax.
Hi, Andrew.
And you literally started in those days, and there was little wet wipes. Try the piccolo. No. Try a flute. Try the oboe. Nothing. Try the clarinet. Interesting. Right, go into the brass room, and everyone cycled through, like kids cycled up through the stairs waiting for their turn to see what it was going to be, because this school won awards for their bands. They had 11 bands. 11 bands in the
So
school.
this was like the kind of so many schools, they focus on sports, don't they? So
Correct.
you're going to play rugby, you're going to play cricket, you're going to do rowing, depending on what kind of school and where you were positioned. But this school was one where
Was all
you're
about
going to
music.
do music. The question is, what music can you
What
do?
music are you going to do? And I failed on all the woodwinds. I went into the brass room where Mr. Dewgood was there, Brian Dewgood, who played trombone himself. Right, son, pick that one up. It's a cornet. Trumpet. Trombone.
Okay, we've got one.
Got the trombone player. So
Nice.
I loved playing the trombone. I nearly went to the Royal Academy of Music and Drama. That was my thing, and I had the qualifications to go, and I was going to go and be a session musician or a music teacher or something like that. So back to the story. Adam and I have taken our little late night texts on Slack about these albums, and we've brought it live with the power of Restream.
Indeed. Thank you, Restream.
Thank you, Restream. So each week we set each other a challenge and this week was my week, to hold up an album and say, let's review that. We do it in silence. We never speak of it. Adam and I work together, but we never speak of it all the way through the week. We haven't even spoken about it in the preamble. And we surprise each other with the week before last, Adam said Toto 4. So we went away and we get inside the album, we listen to it, we do our research, we make notes, and we come back and we ask each other where we're at. When we finished Toto 4, I said, right, here's one worth reviewing, Royal Blood's debut album by Royal Blood. So the question is, you've been away listening to this for a week.
I have.
Is it a or a yay? Where are we?
Yeah, so a bit of a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that it was more that than
Right.
that.
Right.
I did like it. I did really
You're not
like
burning
it.
it.
No, definitely not, definitely not. And I find that often, as you get older, you become aware of your. Yes, thank you. Uh, you become aware of yourself more, and I know that I have to live with something for a while, and a week is not long enough for me to live with it to really get under the hood of it. I did find it fascinating. You said, yeah, I didn't need a whole week to get under the skin of that.
No.
You said it's a two-piece band, and clearly it isn't when you listen to it. I mean, I know it is, but clearly it isn't when you listen to it. It's a phenomenal depth of sound.
Yeah.
I did find it a little bit samey.
Yep.
I did think, and we'll go into this in more detail. I did think that it was obviously very heavily influenced by the Arctic Monkeys, and I know that there is some collaboration stuff going on there. But bits of it, you go, yeah, I've heard that sort of thing before.
I would offer even stronger influence and drive from the White Stripes, who they both adore. It's almost like a joke. There are some tracks on here that could appear on Elephant or Icky Thump by. They could be B-sides of White Stripes singles on here.
Yeah.
They are also heavily influenced by a band we've reviewed recently, Queens of the Stone Age. Dead Weather, Black Keys. They're very heavily influenced. Now these two will go on stage and perform. I've been to see Royal Blood live, and there's just two of them on the stage with that massive sound, albeit heavily influenced by electronics and all of that. Good luck, Andrew's cat. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The cat's at the vet. We'll watch him full later. So yeah, heavily influenced by their rock music roots, and they're also into dance music. So you get a bit of.
So how old are these guys?
They're in their early 20s when they formed this band.
Yeah.
Early 20s, just young guys. I mean, this was one of those albums that was like, this is an album we'll chuck on in the car if we're driving because it's harmless. It's good old riff rock.
It's real toe clapping.
Yeah, it gets you. Like I went out I do a fast 5K walk every day. That's my thing. I've been doing it now for about a month, and I had this on while I was doing that stride today, and it is whoa, come on.
Yeah.
It's not going to change the world. It's not gonna form a movement or anything. But there are some sort of come on. There's some powerful music in here,
and it isn't going to change the world. Having said that, though, there's an enormous, phenomenal bravery to what they're doing. Just two of them, which belays their tender years. So for two people, excellent. Glad you like it. For two people in their early 20s to produce this, to get up on stage, because it's like, if you've got a lead guitar, a rhythm guitar, a bass, keyboard, drums, all going on stage, and you screw up, it's like it doesn't matter really, does it? Because there's plenty of places you can hide in that heavy ensemble.
100%. That's such a. I never actually thought about the bravery of two young men, two young people standing up on stage, and just on their own, just doing this. Because if the drumstick breaks or the bass, the speakers knackered, they are completely exposed, right?
Yeah, and actually quite a lot like the Police from that. Police obviously a three-piece band, but still the depth of sound and the breadth of sound and the textures, phenomenal. For such a small few number of instruments.
Yeah, totally. So this was what, 2014. He's 37 today. Age 37 today, Mike Kerr, the singer. So what would he have been then?
29, wouldn't he?
29, and yeah. Thatcher, I think, is a wee bit younger. So
Mike Kerr, any relation to your friend?
No, unfortunately not. No, unfortunately not. So Royal Blood, for those who don't know, formed in 2013 by bassist and lead vocalist Mike Kerr and drummer Ben Thatcher. They'd known each other since they were kids, teenage years, played various bands together independently, and with Kerr previously serving as a member of the British rock band Hunting the Minotaur. With ideas for a new bass sound, Kerr formed the band with Thatcher after a 9-month tenure in Australia, met him at the airport, did some rehearsals, and played a concert in a bar the next week in Brighton. They became...
Because, of course, there's no reason that you wouldn't, form a band, create the sound, decide what you're going to do, and be performing next week. It's obvious, really.
Which again, you take it at face value. You stick on the Royal Blood album, and you go, "Oh yeah, that's cool." This is young men in their 20s that have just said, "We're going to try and do a new thing." Okay, we're heavily influenced by Arctic Monkeys, by White Stripes mainly. It's almost like he's trying to be Jack White on some of these tracks. But to just say, and we're just going to take this out, and we're going to make it a very successful enterprise, and we're going to go for it, and we're going to do it. So they spent some time in the studio in the summer of 2013. They came up with Out of the Black and Come On Over, a promotional stunt where Matt Helders, the drummer of Arctic Monkeys, wore a Royal Blood t-shirt during their performance at Glastonbury. Both bands happened to share the same management company. The band was also additionally nominated by the BBC along with 14 other acts as the Sound of 2014.
We're getting to it, Barry. Don't you worry. We're getting to it.
We're getting there. So this is their debut album. They come out with this and they stick it on. It's called Royal Blood, and it's called Royal Blood. The first track, Out of the Black, is a thumper. Two of them.
Yeah, I think, and it's really funny. So obviously I've kind of immersed myself. I took my daughter back to university yesterday, so it's like 3 hours drive each way. So clearly on the way there, listened to a bit of this. On the way back by myself in the car, it was this all the journey. And every time I put this on, I have to kind of pinch myself
He's
to
back
remember
on the accelerator.
It's two people.
Two people, yeah.
Yeah, and it's staggering because even though it doesn't sound like two people, it still is two.
And they performed this live, and it sounds the same.
Yeah, well, you sent me, didn't you? You sent me the video clip just before this, saying here they are at Glastonbury, two of them on stage. And I thought what was really cool was when it went to the drum solo, Kerr is then leaning on the amps, just going, check out my mate on the drums.
Check out my mate.
And when he's doing the bass solo, it's like the drummer's sitting there with his arms folded, going, check out my mate on the bass.
Yeah, it
and
literally is
really
just the
close,
two of us.
aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, their thing is this huge sound. Now, the whole thing about this band is the riff. They'd be lost without the riff. It's not about nuance, it's not about clever songwriting, it's about the dum da 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 da. So this one's going to be built around da 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 dum da dum dum. Choose a crowd. Love the blast, absolutely. So, out of the black. First few measures, they just put a marker down.
I think what's really interesting in this song is that when you listen to it, the outro is exactly the same as the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and then the riff arrives, and then there's vocals, and then at the end it just finishes up with
yeah.
And it just it begins with ends with the same suddenness that it begins, and there's no kind of well, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of an intro. It's like you've walked up to somebody and they've just punched you in the. They've done a Will Smith to you, haven't they?
They've done a
They've
Will
walked
Smith
up,
to you.
bang, and walked off again.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep my band's name out of your effing mouth. Yeah, absolutely. So they put a marker down without the black. The bass sound achieved is so epic. Love this guy. Yeah, absolutely. You know, obviously he uses a lot of electronics. You can see it. He's got a pedal deck when he's playing live. You know, because they did a particularly brilliant set at Glastonbury 2015 and 2017. The one in 2017 is just sublime. That's the one where Lars Ulrich is standing off stage from Metallica watching Ben Thatcher going like that. And then in an interview said he's the future of rock drumming. Lars Ulrich, that's pretty cool. Powerful marker down. So what you're getting out of this, you're getting White Stripes, you're getting Queens of the Stone Age, you're getting T-Rex, bits of T-Rex.
I've made some comment about T-Rex a little bit later on. It's really interesting, isn't it? How that clearly, you know, they have, as young men, they have gone through the mill of listening to all of this stuff, and they've kind of been like sponges, haven't they?
Yeah,
totally. This stuff has all come in, it's all influenced them, it's helped them share, and then all of a sudden they've gone there, and this sound has come out, and it is unique. So it's there are bits of it where you go, oh yeah, that sounds just like, but that soon passes, and then you're kind of, it's very much their own sound, but it is quite full on, isn't it? You know, it's
I mean,
there's no gentle ballad in this.
No, there's not. We're going to make an album of bangers. We're going to make an album with 10 singles on it. The term all killer, no filler comes to mind because there is no rest in this. It's quite exhausting. It's an exhausting listen because you don't have the little acoustic ballad to chill out to. Yes, you get Zeppelin. Yes, you get all of that. Yeah, it's just fab. So
I love it that people go away and listen to the albums that we're going to review. I just love it.
Oh, fantastic. And the fact that Susan's been away headbanging around the house. Now, come on over. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So that's the first track. They put a marker down. They just slay. Like you're like sitting in the seat going, right, okay, wow.
Yeah.
So this is the start of this album, and then it takes us into to track 2. Just before we go on to that, if it's all right, can I do some stats? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please. Not often you hear me say that, is it? So yes, let's have some stats, please.
Let me see. The album was well received by music critics. It was released by Warner Brothers Records on the 22nd of August 2014. And in Friday release countries, because there are some songs that are Friday countries that are Friday release countries, at 25th of August in the United Kingdom. It was well received by music critics. It was nominated for the 2014 Mercury Music Prize. It has been a commercial success, debuting on the UK, number 1 on the UK album charts, and been verified by the official charts company as the fastest selling British rock debut album in that 3-year period. It sold rapidly. It charted worldwide, reaching top 10 positions in Ireland, Switzerland, Australia, and New Zealand. Got mixed reviews. Some reviewers, like from NME and stuff like that, NME said it was light and shade and careful nuance throughout. Said it was a turbo bastard of a rock record, and it was potentially made to create and push boundaries. The Observer, Kitty Empire of the Observer said it was a bit immature and it was a bit of a Jack White rip-off. It's like two guys jamming, absolutely. Jessie Goodman of the Huffington Post included on her album review of 2014 saying, it should be recognised as pretty decent for any good party. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's that. Shall we go to track number 2?
Yeah, now this, I thought this is so Arctic Monkeys. So Arctic Monkeys.
Very much so.
No worse because of that.
No worse because of that.
listen to it, I'm still struggling to understand how that is one bass guitar.
No.
That's the thing. Every time you can hear like someone banging away on their Les Paul, and it's like a full band.
A full band.
It's one bloke. It's a bloke bashing things and a bloke playing a bass guitar.
So what we've got is probably a dozen drums, 2 drumsticks, and 4 strings. It's not even a 6-string; it's a 4-string bass.
Yeah. Remarkable. Absolutely.
Absolutely remarkable. We'll get a little bit more of "Coming Over." They do make music seem quiet. You're right. Huge. Again, track 2, exhausted after it, in a sweaty puddle. Yeah, they make Muse seem like a little quiet, reserved parlour band.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff in this particular melting pot, and I think even if they were just a covers band regurgitating other people's stuff, which they're not, but even if they were, the technical mastery of what they're doing with the instruments at hand is just mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, very clever. I mean, yeah. Again, we're we are listening to 2 musicians here in this wall of sound. A wall of sound that would, I've heard bands with 8 people on stage produce less of a sound than this.
Yeah.
A wall of sound, a proper wall of sound. I have to say though, so here's my confession. I've got a lot of love for this album. I don't think it's brilliant. I think it's really good. It's a really good grinder. It's a brilliant. Sarah and I will quite often put that on as part of the mix if we're driving down south or we're away with the caravan. Royal Blood will go on because it's a good old drive-in tune. The worst, most boring band I've ever seen live in my life.
These guys.
Dreadful.
Really?
The most boring live performance I've ever seen. Do you know why? Because he sits on the drums like this, and he stands with his bass guitar, and he just does it, and it actually felt as if there was no emotion, and it felt limp. I don't think it was helped by the fact that I'd found out when we entered the auditorium that we had seated tickets for this band. Looking down at the chaos that was ensuing down there, that my daughter was in. My daughter was in there. But I found them a little bit flat. And actually, if you watch their live performances, they're not exactly electric in performance for an auditorium.
Yeah, now you say that, but I think that to a certain extent, we're coming at it from slightly different places. The thing that I love is mastery.
Yeah.
So they go out and they start, and I've only watched the one video that you sent. They go out and they start, and I just go, it's okay, we're in safe hands.
We're in safe hands.
And you get that. I've seen Prince live, I've seen the Police live, I've seen Rod Stewart live, I've seen Neil Diamond live, a whole breadth of Tina Turner, the Eagles, and all of these bands and individuals. They get up on the stage, and what you're not, like when you go to a student gig, you're concerned that it's going to go wrong and they'll have to restart. You're nervous for them being nervous. These guys have got a technical mastery that makes me as the audience
feel comfortable.
Feel comfortable.
Take them out of the... but I've not finished, Alexander. I love this band. I think they were great. Take them out of the 30,000-seater Hydro in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Put them into a Glasgow Barrowlands with 5,000 people. I think they would have lifted the roof off.
Right.
So they're now that huge a band that they only get to play stadiums. They only get to play stadia. So yeah. So I think they're now they escalated that quickly. This album came out a couple of months after that. They were big news. Mercury nominated, massive, Royal Blood everywhere. I remember when this album came out, after a few months, I kind of got into them early. That's not normal for me. I normally find bands later, but
Yeah.
there was a point where I heard this everywhere. I heard them everywhere. They were massive. Next thing, they're at Glastonbury. So think about this. They bring out their first album in 2014. In 2015, they're playing a decent stage at Glastonbury and a decent time of the day. Pretty massive, right?
Yeah.
But I just think in a small, if they'd earned their crust in the smaller venues after the album came out, instead of just being rocketed to stardom.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because that's one of the things that I think is so lacking from the modern music scene, is the fact people don't do their apprenticeship. You know, you hear about all of the true greats, you know, that bought a transit van and toured around, kind of playing crappy little pubs and bars where 10 people are in the audience, and it knocks the rough edges and it gives them that kind of resilience and comfort on stage. And to have that taken away, it's like, you know, you're pretty good at the bass. Okay, so now be pretty good at the bass at Wembley Stadium. You know, actually, it's not the same thing at all.
Yeah, but they do it pretty well, don't they?
Yeah,
do it
absolutely.
pretty well. The next track is Figure It Out, track 3.
Nothing here to see, just a kid like me, trying to kiss and see, trying to figure it out. Nothing better to do when I'm stuck on you. I'm here trying to figure it out. Getting hard to sleep, what is in my dreams? I was killing me, trying to.
So this track is notably different from the others. It's got that kind of soup can mic opening.
Yep.
Where it's all really, really compressed. And this is very retro sort of sound by comparison. Not that big wall, but a sort of 70s punk stroke rock feel to it, which is it's nice. It is a bit of a contrast.
A nice bit of a break, but he'll take us back to the Wall of Sound in
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a second. Again, two guys.
Yeah, it's a bit like the George Michael 23. You know, it's
23.
it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? Where you have to keep reminding yourself that this is two guys on stage. Yeah, it's
not
staggering.
rhythm guitar, lead guitar, bass, percussion, drums, keyboards. Two blokes.
Yeah, two blows, and that was a really good point that Simon made there. That's probably the case. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
can't
just
stray
felt-
too far from the pedal board,
So we
can
were
you?
sitting like they were like ants, the two of them, one on drums and him standing on stage in this massive Glasgow Hydro, wherever it was we saw them, and it was just like two little ants. They had no real stage presence. I just feel that their albums are great, their sound is great, their studio work is brilliant. I just feel in the larger venues they get kind of dwarfed a little bit. I'd love to see this band rip really heavy in a 3,000 max venue, 2,000. I'd like to see them in a King Tut's Wawa Hut style place.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, 500 or 600 people. My goodness, can you imagine? Can you imagine that sound? Crikey.
But also you get the intimacy, and that's one of the things. You know, when I've never played the 6,000, but you know, when you're on stage, if there's 50 people in the audience, you can connect to the 50 people. If there's 500 people in the audience, it's just a sea of faces, and you can't see people. You just see this blob. So it would be wonderful to see a band like this in a really small, intimate venue.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Dangerous to be listening to this particular track towards the end if you're driving for this reason. So this is track 3, Figure Out, the end of the track. Always try and finish this one early if you're driving.
Yeah, in some ways, it's a bit of a shame that there's that abruptness to the end of the tracks, because we're kind of not used to that in a studio environment, are we? We're kind of used to a bit of a fade out or something where it kind of because them it's like they've okay, we've done a bit, right? I'm off now.
I've got a theory about that. That when these clever little guys, these clever guys in that studio, when they got together in Brighton, they were like, let's make an album of Glastonbury stage show. Let's make a stadium album that is do 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 do.
Yeah,
I think they were in their minds. They were creating something that would kill it at Glastonbury, kill it at Reading Festival, and they were making a series of amazing live stadium songs.
yeah.
Big, powerful ass kickers, because none of them just sort of like fade away or anything like that.
No, absolutely, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because you would expect to see on an album a blend of different things, and it's almost as if the band is a little bit one dimensional.
Yeah. I would agree. They brought out other dimensions in their later. I think they're on their 4th or 5th album now, and they split the crowd with their last album because their last album that they brought out, they've returned back to the fact that they both love dance music. So their new music is far more dancey and light, and still got the royal blood, but it's more funky. The new music is more funky and more dancey and more party-ish, whereas this is them sort of in the raw. Do you want to hear the 4th track?
Yeah, so I thought this was like the person that wrote the music was the bastard offspring of Hendrix and Bolan. You know,
Hendrix, so this one,
Hendrix and T-Rex melded together. This is
You Can Be So Cruel, track number 4 from Royal Blood's Royal Blood. At that break there, you expect to see on stage 6 guys bent over at the waist with long hair.
Yeah, I still see that as being a T-Rex thing. You know, some of the chord stuff. So that bit that you finished it on he's like he's going to swing into one of those.
Ride a White Swan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. I get it. Yeah. See Mark Bolan.
Yeah.
Lightning flashes. Yeah, very glam rock.
Absolutely. But so just let's say again.
2 guys.
2 people.
And I love the fact that while this is going on, I mean, the drum patterns are incredibly complicated, incredibly rhythmic. I mean, he's been heralded as an amazing rock drummer. He's sitting smiling with his little cherubic face while his hands are going everywhere, looking over at his little mate just dancing about. The 2 of them supporting this whole entire monstrous sound. Amazing. Yeah, brilliant. Love that. So we're on to now the 5th track, Blood Hands.
This was my favourite one on the album.
You like this?
Yeah, very much like this. I thought this was again another very heavily Arctic Monkeys inspired song. But I thought this was really, really top flight stuff.
It's getting harder, yes, I am. The clock is ticking, counting down the days gone by. Praying for an answer to another question that won't appease you dry. You won't understand with your head in the sand.
For me, this is straight off Icky Thump by the White Stripes. Should have been on there, but it was
Yeah.
a B-side to Icky Thump. Oh, come on.
Stop the world from turning faster than I'm letting out to just hide and run. You won't understand. Your head in the sand. No, you won't. Love came and went faster than a pace.
Just gonna leave this for a bit until he starts to freak out with that bass. Yep. Yep. Six guys. Great track. That's your favourite.
Yeah, favourite from this album.
That's the one you'll take from that. The next one for me is the favourite. Now,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
the obvious favourite. It's the one you're supposed to like. It's the one that I think they wrote this saying one day we're going to play this on the main stage at Glastonbury. This next track.
Yeah, you see, I thought that this was quite. So this is not so much inspired by the Muse White Stripes Arctic Monkeys sound. This is more inspired by the Black Sabbath Motorhead kind of sound. And I thought this was quite interesting again to some of the other stuff. Different influences on this, I thought.
Different influences, yeah. I think latterly Mike Kerr ended up working with Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age in his desert sessions where he
Right.
puts up a flag and he says, I admire all of these bands. I'm going to invite one or two people from each of these bands to come to my studio in the desert, and we're going to spend a week doing all sorts of substances and things, and we're going to make a record.
Yeah.
With no preconceptions. I'm not going to give you music. We're going to make it. So the last desert sessions had Billy Gibbons there, had Jake Spears from Scissor Sisters, had Mike Kerr from Royal Blood, had the drummer from Arctic Monkeys, and they make so he's. I hear lots of Queens of the Stone. I hear a tribute to Quatza in here, but also a nod. This is the mighty, the high and mighty Little Monster. Where do you go? they play this at festivals, there is bedlam in the crowd. Bedlam in the crowd.
Mon the Biff kind of bedlam.
Yeah. Sarah, I remember hearing this for the first time on Zane Lowe's show and thinking, what on earth is that? What on earth? And it was a kind of like, I think I remember her running through going, turn Radio 6 on, or whatever it was. Listen to this. What is this? Never heard anything like
And you said, oh yeah, it's two guys. That's what it is.
Two guys from Brighton, young kids. Awesome. I often think when bands that want commercial success, because there are some bands that don't, it's all about the art, right? That don't care about major millions of record sales. You know, Sarah Doyle is a rock chick and a dance chick as well. She's got a foot in both camps. She'll be doing the Running Man to some deep house, and then she'll be. Wait. Do you remember Guitar Hero? Remember when that came out?
Yeah.
Sarah was like watching me. I was a big Xboxer, still am, and I bought Guitar Hero. I bought the guitars, and I'm standing playing along with the guitars. And it was quite fat. There was like 4 buttons here, plus a tremolo, and you had to get it right, and you got points and stuff. And she's like, "What? Give me a shot of that. Give me a shot of that." And I think the first song was the first one she played was Barracuda, right? The old guitar track, I think it's Heart Barracuda or something like that. And she started playing it, and then I left her with it, and she was on to the next one, a Fleetwood Mac song, then an Aerosmith song. Months later, I came home one day from work to pick up a document that I'd left, and found that Sarah was home from her office. And I went in, and Sarah had come home to play Guitar Hero. Yeah, you're embarrassed now, aren't you?
Good go.
Many nights I would go in and say, "Babe, it's okay, you can put the guitar down." And she's like trying to do Even Flow by Pearl Jam on mega hard level and nailing it to the point where she was forming a claw as a hand. Yes, she would talk about the claw. She would sit in bed with her fingers in like muscular cramps from Guitar Hero.
See, I love that. I think that shows dedication.
You watching this show. They take a slight change of direction here and get a wee bit more funky into track number 7, Loose Change.
Chili Peppers.
Chili Peppers. The claw. Oh yeah.
Another penny in my pocket, no shame. Another heartstring like talk shame. Worth 24 carats just to hug it again. Like there's nobody home, there's nobody home. 'Cause all the glitters is gold till your clothes get sold and then your money don't fold. Yeah, your money don't fold. Success still with your door banging. Shadows in your little hole. Like there's nobody home.
Eric.
Very funky. Two guys
Two guys.
in their 20s.
Queen, look out, guillotine. Buckle down your floor, buckle down your floor.
But they're already indicating here too. So that sound, they've pulled that through a little bit in the later work and really added more sort of dancey stuff. And you could play it. You could play it in a club. And he said a disco there, which really dates you when you say a disco.
No. They're all discos at heart, aren't they? All of them.
In a discotheque. And they're off again in the same track. I met Roy Castle at the Albert Hall. So that's Loose Change. We're now on to track number 8, which could be. I mean, you can picture Jack White in his red outfit on stage with Meg. This is a White Stripes song, I'm sorry, but they're very good at it.
Just bass guitar, yeah?
Yeah.
I wish I could make this disappear.
His brother Juan.
So I sit and smoke on my own. Think about you, baby, how you feel alone. 'Cause I die just thinking that you'll forget. But I guess you won't. I wish I cared less, but I'm afraid I don't. You couldn't care less. So I guess
I just see Jack White with his little red and white airline. That's like something from Elephant. That would have fitted next to Seven Nation Army on the album easily. But they do it
Yeah.
very well. Do it very well.
Very well.
We're getting into the close, and we're in the last 10 minutes. We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Yeah. I mean, it always amazes me that we start chatting about this stuff and we obsess about the first couple of tracks, and then before you know it, we're 2 tracks into a 14-track album or whatever it is, and we've got
Yeah.
5 minutes left.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
But this, I think that this is very different from anything we've done before.
Yeah.
In terms of not even really the kind of music, but the delivery of it, and it's a unique thing, and totally unaware of this before you said, should we give this a try next week? And I just love the discovery of this for me.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely love it.
Totally. And we may never go back to them again. We may find a little track that we like that gets a foot stomping. So that's that. Definitely for me, for those that are into, I know I'm hammering the Jack White thing here, but this could fit on Elephant. I think it could fit on Dead Weather's next to Blue Blood Blues by Dead Weather. Jack White's solo album Blunderbuss. This could be on it. Very, very similar to the kind of work that Jack White would be doing. It's a bit of a tug of the forelock, I think, to Mr. White, who is a legend and a genius. And one day, I may be confident enough to bring a Jack White or a White Stripes album to this party, but I'm not quite there. I don't quite have the confidence yet. Don't quite have the confidence yet to bring it, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So we're on to track number 9, 10 Ton Skeleton. My goodness me. Another live favourite of theirs. I'm not reading that out.
No, on this occasion, no.
This is infectious. I think this chorus. Love this. Sledgehammer. I kicked the habit.
It's funny that you should say that, because for the next track, I've got an observation to make.
Oh, have you now?
Yeah.
Have you now? Well, why don't we just... so that was 10 Ton Skeleton, which is a big hit of theirs live, and goes down an absolute treat. So we're into the very last. We made it all the way to the end of Royal Blood by Royal Blood. So this is Better Strangers.
Right. So 2 tracks, 2 albums that we have done before.
Right.
So Us, Peter Gabriel. So Washing in the Water. River, river, carry me home. Living river, carry me home. As the opening to that song.
Right.
And then the Arctic Monkeys, Do I Want to Know? Have you got colour in your cheeks? Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. Right. Now the opening phrase is the Peter Gabriel, River, River, Carry Me Home, which morphs perfectly into Do I Want to Know? Almost like a mashup, I think.
Do you know how much I feel that one of my reasons for being in this planet has just been ticked that you're actually singing back Arctic Monkeys lyrics from AM to me like an expert. That's it. Life is a life thing checked off. Tick. So okay, fair enough. Let's have a...
There's nothing left inside. I feel a hole low. My heart is open the soul. Hollow, hollow. I don't need you tonight, so don't follow, follow. Left alone in the valley, so hollow, hollow. I know you wanna be mine, so don't follow, follow. Lost my heavy heart.
There's something about I'm a bass player. I love playing the bass. And there's a bass through there which I in an attempt to sound like Mick Karn pulled the frets out of and put epoxy resin over and filed it all down, so I've now got a fretless bass which used to be a fretted bass, which sounds awful, but you've no idea. I even bought pedals to try and sound like this. How many nights I've sat with these, and Sarah will tell you, poor Sarah. When are you gonna? That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's so true.
Fantastic.
That's ace. Yeah, brilliant. How many nights I've sat there trying to go like this. Watching him on Glastonbury, trying to get the tuning right and trying to get some sort of a semblance of just fabulous.
But that's a boy thing, isn't it? So, in the 20 years I've been playing guitar, I've bought loads and loads of different instruments when I've gone through phases of wanting to sound like particular guitarists. So, want to sound like James Taylor? Okay, well, I'm going to buy a Gibson J50. Do I want to sound like such and such? I'm going to buy one of. And normally, the music that I'm into at the time, for acoustic guitars, this is the music that I'm into at the time is reflected by what's hanging on the wall. And I think that's a guy thing, isn't it?
It's a guy thing. Like this guitar, which is an Airline Jack White guitar that Sarah bought me. This is the only guitar he uses in Jack White's, in the White Stripes. I only play White Stripes music on this.
Yeah, because
it's
and I think that the point from the male, because men are very binary creatures generally. The point is that I idolize this song or this player or this album, and I want to play like that. And part of playing like that is not just getting the notes right, it's sounding like that.
Oh yeah.
And you need the tool to sound like that. And if you haven't got the right tool, doesn't matter what you do, you don't sound like that.
Yeah, that's why one year when I was struggling to get the sound right, and I found out that Jack used a particular pedal, I had to ask Sarah when she said, "What would you like for Christmas this year?" And I said,
one of those pedals.
Can I have a big muff?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar. Let's not go too far down that line of
let's leave that one there. Let's leave that one there. But the fact is, I sat there for hours on end trying to play the opening bars to Icky Thump. Do 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 till Sarah opened the door one time and said, "It's been 2 hours, Eric. 2 hours.
2 hours. The same notes."
Over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Royal Blood, Royal Blood.
So that definitely gets the thumbs up from me.
Cool.
This is not. So when I took Maddie back to university, we got in the car, we're driving along. She put on Hejira.
Right.
She wouldn't have put on Hejira had we not done Hejira in one of these. And and that's now a staple of my kind of music that's on repeat. This won't make it to that point, but I would have this in my record collection.
Ah, super, yeah. It's a great. I mean, the fact that there are two British guys that have forged this sound.
How many?
Two.
Just two.
Oh, wow. Just two. They've forged this sound. They're very good at what they do. They're recognised internationally. They've got a cracking sound. They can fill stadiums with their amazing sound. Their first album, is a ridiculous album of 10 singles. 10 singles. And floor fillers. All filler, no killer is how you would describe that. I know that term's used quite a lot, but there's no little filler on there. There's no little crap track. They're all great. They're all great at what they do. They're brilliant. Cracking little band.
Yeah, fantastic.
Wait, the question is, where are you taking us from here?
So you love to put me on the spot.
I do.
So you go, okay, here's what we're going to do next week, and you hold it up, and it's like, okay, fait accompli. I am not that kind of man, so I like to give you a choice. so I've got a choice, all prepped and ready to go. Choice of two.
Can I just say, when I do say this is what we're going to do next week, I've sweated on it for a week.
And I have sweated on this for a week when I make suggestions as well, and I think that some of them, we knew Toto was not going to be a like an earth-shattering album, but it's reasonably safe. Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoyed it. Great fun.
So these may be more challenging, but for different. So you're the New Music Man, 2014.
Yeah.
So I've got 1970 and 1978.
Love it already.
So 1970 is this.
James Taylor. I wouldn't know James Taylor music if it smacked me in the mouth. I wouldn't know James Taylor if I heard him on the radio.
Okay.
So I'm interested already because I know that there's a reputation that goes here.
So this is a live, and you will know some of his songs. This is a live album, him and his guitar, on stage in the BBC in 1970. At that time, he was young. He was 22 when this was recorded. And it was basically all of his music that he had written at that time.
Okay.
He was dating Joni Mitchell at that time.
Of course.
And which song is it? I want to write you a love letter. I want to knit you a sweater. Joni Mitchell's lyrics in
Yes. Yep.
All I Really, Really Want. He's wearing the sweater in this that she knitted. So, and for you, that would be cool because he originally, when he was a child, learned to play the cello, and his guitar playing is led by the bass notes because he's a bass clef kind of guy. So something that the two of you have in common. Look, sorry, I've missed all of these. Sorry, two great guys reviewing two great. We like you, Barry. Thank you.
Are you watching the right show, Barry? Are you watching another show and commenting on this one?
So that would be that's your folk music, one
Right.
instrument, one voice. Yeah.
Poor Susan, she's been
The
asking.
other
for months.
thing, no, it isn't. It isn't going to be Oasis, not yet. Although we will get onto that.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
other thing, from your childhood, you will be familiar with this, and this will be one of those things that you either loved or hated.
I think I know where you're going.
It's
That. Can I guess?
yeah.
Is it the sound of bread?
It isn't the sound of bread. although- damn. Yes, that would have been a brilliant one. Absolutely.
We'll bank it.
I love David Gates. Absolutely fantastic. So this, if I were to say, arguably the best album artwork ever, steampunk,
Yeah, I know steampunk. Yeah.
based on an H.G. Wells novel.
Oh. Jeff Wayne's music, War of the Worlds. Right. Okay. I'm split. Do you know what? Because we need to do them both at some point, but I'm kind of drawn to James Taylor because I've known nothing about this artist.
Okay.
I know about Reputation only. I've never, apart from one thing that you sent me, which was him doing a Joni Mitchell track in a studio as an older man.
Yeah.
I've never heard him, and I know that there's a Reputation. I think our colleague Linwood went to see him recently. Is that right?
Maybe I know Tim has seen him in concert as well,
Right.
and Tim said it was magical. So
Shawadi wadi.
yeah.
Let's go for a little
Well, there was
walk.
a program on the BBC last night about National Treasure, National Disgrace, which you may have seen. One of the artists that was featured in that was, in fact, Gary Glitter. So from that Shawadi Wadi kind of era,
Right.
not very nice stuff. But yeah, if you can listen to the album, it's available on iTunes, or you can. But although it won't come up unless you put in James Taylor live in London 1970. And you can also find it all on YouTube, where you could actually watch the concert as well as listen to the concert.
Right. Which one? I mean, make it easier here because I don't know which one to pick.
Well, I think they're very different. You know, one of them is very sparse. It's like early Joni Mitchell. You know, it's folky kind of stuff, focusing on the lyrics and just him with the guitar accompanying stuff.
I'm gonna put it out to the vote.
But equally, this one, it's got the voice of Richard Burton as the opening of it. So I mean,
Yeah, I actually rehearsed that for another live show that you may be familiar with. When I was going to be a Welsh person, I rehearsed and got off pat the Richard Burton.
no one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century.
Correct.
Human affairs were being watched from the timeless worlds of space. I mean, a voice that I'm not gay. I would turn gay for that voice. It's just nothing comes close to his voice.
I would turn gay for that voice.
Did I say that with a Jimmy Savile voice? Now then. Oh no, I didn't.
No. Right, listen. Right, Pybus has put his vote in. For anyone who's listening, War of the Worlds. You can go WOTW or James Taylor. Fight.
Fight.
Right, let's hold on and see what we get. We've had 1 vote, 2 votes now for War of the Worlds. James Taylor, 1 vote in. 2-1.
2-1. 2-1. Oh, 3.
3-1.
Yeah, it looks like it's going that way, doesn't it?
4-1.
Oh, no.
4-2.
4-2.
We'll just wait till the chat stops. 4-2 as it stands.
War of the Taylor.
Still 4-2. I think it's going to end at 4-2. Do I hear any more for 4-2? Any more? Going once.
So we've got just James Taylor, or we've got Richard Burton, Julie Covington, Justin Hayward, David Essex, Phil Lynott, Joe Partridge, Chris Thompson. It's a win for War of the Worlds by the look of it, isn't it?
It is. It's although Simon is trying to reinforce the point by voting many times, I think we're going to say, like, he's appeared as Wells Simon S. Wells, Cybo. I think let's bank James Taylor 1970.
Yep.
War at Worlds, and we'll go War at Worlds.
Fine. I'm perfectly happy with that. I think my neighbour says War of the Worlds. Yeah. Okay, it's a win for Mon the War of the Worlds.
We're crossing the streams. We're crossing streams here.
Don't cross the streams.
My dog barked. JT.
Okay, so Eric will choose. Actually, we'll do War of the Worlds next week. The week after is Good Friday, so we won't be having a show then. The week after that, you'll choose. The week after that, my choice will be this one. So anyone that wants to listen to that can do so in advance.
Alrighty. I'm just thinking we're away on one. Let me just double check here. A bit of admin, as long as no one minds. Sarah put it in my diary so I don't end up mucking up.
We've currently only got 27,600 people viewing, so it's fine. They can keep them holding on. It's fine.
That's fine. We're away on the 15th, so I won't be able to make the show. We're away.
Okay, so
2 weeks off.
today's
Is that
the
right?
first. Yeah, so that'll be 2 weeks without a show. I'll see if Tim's available for that day.
Yeah, absolutely, and do some other old crap that you just find.
So you're away which day? Sorry,
We're away on the 15th, so I won't be able to make
but that's
show.
Good Friday anyway. So
Is that the one you meant? So
Yeah.
do we have a show next week on the 8th?
Yeah.
We do. Okay, so that's War of the Worlds next week, and then Good Friday off, and then back. Okay,
Yeah.
super. Right, War of the Worlds. Tell me, this is it one of these, like, is it one track, one side, one track, the other?
It isn't. It's a series of tracks, some of which are 11 minutes, some of which are short. It tells the story of the H.G. Wells novel, The War of the Worlds. Richard Burton is the narrator, and then various characters have an artist. I mean, if I opened the album, look at that. Isn't that just amazing? Bit of artwork inside the album.
Crikey.
It's a devastatingly good thing. Very ELO in terms of its feel, but obviously lyrics are based on something bigger than a Jeff Lynne song.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see, won't it? Be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
do,
I'm
do it from the caravan.
Do it from the cat. No. My cat says JT. Absolutely. Hey, that's been a great show today. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward
So
to.
have I.
Is it going to uplift me? Is it going to depress me? What are the world? Sounds as if I'm not going to have a happy week, Adam.
No. I think you will. I think you'll be amazed because it's obviously 150-year-old book.
Yeah.
So and there are bits in it that'll make you giggle, like the first cylinder that comes from Mars lands in Horsell Common, down in Sussex. And then another one flies over later on and heading towards London. And the narrator says, I didn't imagine that Carrie would be in danger, who's his lover, Carrie, so far away in London. It's travelled 150 million miles from Mars, and it's gone 40 miles up the road to London. But I think it's a beautiful production. Absolutely.
So I guess Matt Bibas is actually dropping in like no Nathaniel no, and there must be more to life. Is that quotes from the album? I guess.
That's sung by Julie Covington, who Julie Covington was the original "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina."
Right, I see. And you're showing off now, Matt, with your. This is like one of these.
And the lid fell off. Oh, mate, we're brothers in this. It's fantastic.
What we should do is actually put the squeeze on him. If he knows this that well that he could be quoting it, he should be a guest reviewer.
That's interesting. Sorry, is it? And he liked the idea of it destroyed. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting for you to discover this album if you don't know it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Right. Super day.
Everybody, thank you so much. I mean, it's been a blast today. We've had so many great comments and just been giggling away. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, magic. And I think we did Royal Blood well as a bit of a review. Nice one.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.